All right, welcome back. We are Game 2007. That's multiplayer game design 1 in the winter 2026 semester at Georgia, and it's week 6, part 2 of our broadcast and recording. That last one was a big one, but this one won't be as bad. So we want to add an attack animation now for our sword. We kind of have a sword. Here it is. But what we want to do is want to go to Assets, K-Kit, Animations, Character Animations. And there's one we want, there's a rogue animation. If we type in attack, we want to use this rogue attack one-handed, this one right here. I want to right-click, and I want to make a new attack and a montage. What can I call this? AM_attack. So it's going to be the attack montage. I want to move this to my animations folder right here. So just grab this and move it in there. Okay. So that's the montage. So if I actually go into my animations folder, I have other ones. I have the blend space, and I also have my animation blueprint. The attack montage just looks like this. It's pretty simple. Kind of moves the sword, and I don't have to do anything about it. Now that I have the asset, I'm not going to add it in yet. Now that I have the asset, which is this attack montage, I need an interaction. So let's add an input action. So again, under input, we want to add a new input action. We call this IA attack. IA attack. It's going to need a new mapping. So it's going to be IA attack. IA attack is going to happen with the left mouse button and also the gamepad right shoulder. That's what we've decided to do. On that, interact doesn't have a gamepad kind of interaction. We can add that in too. We can say that it also uses gamepad. Maybe it'll be the face key top. Right, so they, on the Xbox controller, it'd be the Y key as an example. Okay, so that's what that does. Quit is escape, as an example. But maybe if you're using a controller, it'd be something else. I'm not going to put that in play, but all the other ones have gamepad equivalents to all of them. There we are, because this way you could interact just with the gamepad. There we go. Okay, cool. So now that we have an action, we need to modify our, we want to play the montage, but we want to do this inside of the character, right? So in BP_character, so again, if I go to blueprints, BP_MP character, we're going to add in a couple things, right? So I'm just going to scroll down here. The first thing is the attack itself. So if I do IA_attack, that's the attack, the enhanced input for the attack action. We want to make it so that when it's started, then we're going to check to see if it's attacking. So if is attacking, so only if I'm not attacking can I attack. Not going to let the guy attack when I'm already attacking, right? Also, we also must have a right hand item equipped. So if I have get right hand item equipped, if it's both of these are true, right? If I have a right hand item equipped and I'm not already attacking, then branch, I want to be able to attack. So when I click the started, the button to interact with, then the attack is going to occur, right? That's what's going to happen here. And then I want to state that I am attacking, so I can set is attacking to true, right? And then we're actually going to do the attack right here. We're not going to do it yet, okay? So that's going to just pull all this stuff in here. In order for us to do that, we need to use the RPC pattern we've been using before, because this is an animation, right? So we're going to use the multicast first. So we're going to make a custom event, add custom event called play attack montage multicast. It's going to be a multicast RPC, right? And just in the meantime, add a custom event, which is play attack montage server. It's going to play on the server, run on the server, but it's going to call play attack montage multicast. This is the pattern we need to use for animations and user interfaces. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. Now, that means that this is going to call play attack montage server. So it's going to call the server. The server is going to call the multicast. The multicast is where all the magic happens, where we're going to have the mesh and we're going to play montage. The play montage function, I'm just going to move this over a little bit so we can see them. Play montage. We need to select the montage asset, which is going to be the AM attack montage. That's what it's going to be. Okay? And then we're also going to say, after we're done playing, on completed, we're going to say that is attacking is false. So we can, once it's done, once the animation is finished, then we can attack again. Otherwise, we won't be able to attack. And that's it. That's the pattern that we've seen before again and again, right? This pattern right here, where we have the input, we do some checks, but it's going to be calling play attack montage server. The server is going to only run on the server. That's what the RPC is going to do, is run on the server, and then it calls a broadcast to the multicast, kind of event, which actually does the play montage itself. This is where it actually happens. We need to do these both, because if we don't, then it's going to happen on the server but not on the client. Especially because we're using a listen server. Now this would be different, and we're going to see this is different next semester and third year, where it doesn't work quite this way for LAN multiplayer. All right, so let's test this out and see if it works. So I'm just going to do it first with the player, this player here. So again, if I press the left mouse button, I don't see any animation. But if I go and pick up a weapon, and then if I press the left mouse button, now the animation occurs. And what I'm looking for is, does it occur for the player as well? Can the server see it? And the answer is yes. So if I go to the server now, and if I click onto it, I can click the server. I can move them pretty good, right? We're going to change this later, but for now, we can actually like move the guy around. Okay, cool. So let's do the same thing for the server now. So does the server work? So if I go over and pick up an item, right, and now I have my item in my hand, and I go over to the other player, can the player see the item? Yes, they can. And can I see the animation? Yes, they can, and I can move the other player around as well. It's actually a little game. I can bat them around. Boop, boop, right? All right. So that is this part. So now we added the attack montage. Let's put this up on DevOps, file, save all. Git commit -m. We'll say added attack montage. Right. There we go. I want to do the same thing, but I want to add a shield. Okay. So the shield is kind of a child of the sword. So I'm going to right click and add a child blueprint class called BP underscore shield. There we are. Shield, for the most part, will be the same as the sword, except the item mesh is different, where instead of sword common, it'll say shield common. There we go. And the type won't be a right-handed weapon. It'll be a left-handed weapon. We could have called this something different. Left-handed equipable, right-handed equipable, whatever, right? But that's what it is. Okay. We can always change this, by the way. So now that we have a shield, let's put a shield out there. So we can have shield and sword. Here's the shield. And I want to be able to equip it on the left hand. Let's see if I can just do this now. So I can, if I press play, the logic should already be there. So here's my shield. If I go over to it and I interact with it, boom, I should be able to interact with the shield and pick it up. But the reason why I can't is because my interact function, we never put on the shield. So go back to the shield, and in the interact function, we want to call equip weapon. Okay. So if I do that, and if I go over to the shield now, and I equip it, oh yeah, the other thing is, of course, the shield has to be equipable, right? It's definitely a left-handed weapon. That's something that we have to do. So why isn't it interacting? Can interact. We don't care about that. Let's check our logic here again. Oh yeah, because it's not connected. That's not good. I was wondering why. I was like, wait, that doesn't seem right. Something's missing. That means that we probably don't need this, because I think it's by default it'll work with both. Let me just make sure, because I was expecting it to work with both. Let's try it again. So try again, go over to the shields, interact, and there it is. So there's my shields. Now I don't have I can't do either attack or defense, but if I pick up my weapon, I can attack and the shield will move with me. No problem. I should be able to test that out as well with my other character. So again, running over, I want to pick up the shield and I want to pick up the sword. There we are. And if I press left mouse button, there it is. And I should be able to see the character come over here and I can see both things happening. Good. So that's the thing. So added a shield. So file, save all, and we'll say git add dot, git commit -m. We'll say added shield equipable. But we don't have a animation for it, so let's add that next. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the KKit characters, animations, type in shield, right, or block, I think, block, yeah, rogue block. And what I want to do with the block is I want to create a anim montage called am block. I'm going to take this block and I'm going to pull it into the animations folder. And now we have this. Here's my block. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. So it basically puts that shield up there. Now it's a long block, like it lasts for a long time. So we're going to may have adjusted later. Like maybe the rate scale can be increased. Right? So it's a quick shield, you know, kind of thing. Even that's probably pretty slow. If you want a shield, we can put that up to, you know, to something like 3. Right, where we're shielding, because you don't want it to last that long. And we'll see how that looks in a second. All right, so now we want to be able to do that same thing. So back to the character, right? Back to the character. We want the same pattern again, right? Where I want to check the right hand weapon this time, and I want to do kind of the same thing with the play montage. Man, if I want to do the same thing with the same montage, then in your mind you should be saying, is there a better way? Is there a way that I could use a function for this? Can I collapse this down into something else that might work better, right? Do I need to have, you know, this attack montage or shield montage or whatever it's going to be called? Maybe there's going to be a better way we'll use in the future. So back to this. We want this block animation to happen, and I need an interactable an input first. So again, back to this. I'm going to go back to the input, a new action, and we're going to have a new input action called IA block. Block. You can tell it's the end of the night because I'm making things really mucked up. Block, there we go. And then That's good. Then what I want to do is I want to add in a mapping context for it. Mapping. So IA block, there it is. The block is going to use the right mouse button, or it'll use the gamepad left shoulder. So shoulder, left shoulder. Okay. So that's the way it works. Compile and save. And now what we need is we need this structure. So I'm going to say IA block. There it is. And I want to do the same thing. Let's grab all this for now. Actually, I'll grab all of this for now, up to here. And again, if you see me doing that, in your mind, you should say, there's probably a better way. Okay, because we're doing the exact same thing. Now, I don't care about right-hand weapon being equipped. I can get left-hand item equipped. If the left-hand item equipped is there, and I'm not attacking, because it's a kind of attack, a type of attack or defense, right? Later on, maybe we can do both. I don't know. There's no animation for that, but we can do a blend if we want to. Then this part is good. All right, so that's the first part. The other part is we need to add those two custom events. So add custom event, play block, animate, block montage, multicast, and we'll also add another custom event. Add custom event, play block montage server. So here we can complete this part. We can play block montage server, but we're going to make this into an actual server event. We didn't do that yet, so we'll say on run on server. There we go, and this one will be multicast. The multicast event is where it's going to happen, but we're going to call this play block on multicast. That's completed. And just like we did before, I'm going to grab the mesh and this part. Like, it's almost identical, really, if you think about it, right? So we can easily make a function for this. But the only thing is that this montage to play is going to be block instead of, whatever it's the other montage, right? The attack montage. So realistically, what we can have is an input into this event that connects this. So this is anim montage object reference. That's what it needs, right? So we need that. The anim montage object reference. So we could do that way. And then the other thing is, by the way, play. If I go back to play montage. So there is a play montage, right? Here's play montage. And if I type in montage by itself, right? So you can see that there is play anim montage, which is a different function. So there's two functions, play montage, play anim montage, right? Where we can pass in the montage. This one just plays the montage and it has uncompleted. This one doesn't have that. It's a simpler form of play anim montage. Okay, just letting you know. So don't get confused with that. Now that we have this ready to go, we should be able to have the block working. So compile and save. And if I go back to this, and now I can't do it if I right click right now. I have to have a shield in my equipped. So I go here and equip it. And if I right click now, we should be able to quickly play the shield block. Now I don't like the fact that, by the way, let's see if I can steal the shield from the other player. Let's see if I can do that. So if I go over here and if I kind of go over to the shield, can I do that? Can I kind of go here and interact with the shield and pick it up from the characters? These are things we can test. Okay, so I can't do it because we don't. It's only if it's the owner, and when the shield is picked up, it doesn't get that interact radius, and so because it doesn't have an interact radius, it's just the shield. It's not an interactable anymore, so it's gone. Let's try again with the other character now. This character here. So can we shield with this character? So again, running over, going to pick up a shield. Yes, I can. And then right click, I can do the shield. I'm not really happy about that, like how it kind of, I want to make it so as I press the shield, it's not going to be over. It's just going to stop. And I can modify the animation later on where it just stops where it's going to be, and then it goes back, you know, when I let it go, right? Which is kind of what it is. It's like two animations, right? I can take that animation and split it, right? I can say I can make a brand new animation, two animations from the first one, which is, you know, shield, and then the other one would be stop shielding, right? And stop shielding will happen when I release the mouse button, or the button itself. It'll just like go back to normal, right, kind of thing. It'll do that stop shielding part. But for now, it just kind of does it and goes back. So maybe on that, then, if I go back to the animations for my block montage, right? Maybe this is too fast now. Maybe the original one had a reason for it to be there for a while, because it allows you to shield and it goes back by itself. Slow, but you know, at least it does the job. All right, so let's do both now. Let's pick up a sword and shield. So I'm just going to go here, and with this guy, he's going to go over and pick up a sword with his left hand. Oops. Right? So he can strike, and he can put up a shield with his right hand, right, as an example. And so now I can shield, and I can also strike. So shield and strike. So the shield has a kind of a start. Can I push him with my shield? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, I can kind of, it's like an attack with my shield. I can kind of push him back with my shield into a corner even. There we go. Let's see if I can make him jump with my shield. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so really good. Last check we'll do with this character. We always want to check with both to make sure that the effect is the same. So again, I run over and I grab the shield, I grab the sword, right? And then I can attack and I can shield, and the other character should be able to see it, and I should be able to push the character around just like I did with both of my items. Because right now, yeah, it's like playing pinball. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it's pretty good. I can do both. Okay. Let's put that up. So I'll say git add dot git commit -m. We'll say added block montage. Last but not least is the cleanup, right? So I want to be able to clean up the stuff that I've got. So I'm going to turn off all the debug spheres and everything else, because this is where we're going to leave it for your midterm test, right? I want to clean up all this stuff and take it off. So let's try this out and see if it works. So the way to do this would be in the base interactable. Let's go back to my interactables, right? My base interactable right now, if I go to the interact radius, we don't want to see it. So if I go to hidden, then I want to do hidden in game. So that's the first thing. So that's all the interactables are hidden now. Let's make sure that that's true. So if I press play, now no more interactables there. So we can see that that is true. That sphere trace is still going. There's no interactable there, right? But you can see that when I'm close enough and I'm looking at it, I'm pretty good in terms of getting that E key. Also the coins, those are different kinds of interactable, but it's more like a consumable, right? That kind of work out to be the way it is. All right, so let's get rid of that next. So the coin, so if I go back to pickups, and if I go to base pickup, and if I go to the pickup radius, kind of the same thing, like an interactable radius. And if I go to hidden, then we want to hide that in game too. So compile and save. So now we won't see those things in the game, right? We'll see items that are floating there and that kind of stuff. So we're almost there. The last thing is this weird perform sphere trace thing. So perform sphere trace, that's in the character. So that's in perform sphere trace, which is here. Perform sphere trace does a couple things, right? It draws the debug type for one frame. We're going to say none. So that's the first thing we're going to change here, right? And then the other thing it does is it draws a debug sphere right? That's what it does here. So this draw debug sphere, I'm going to show you this. We'll do it in stages here. So if I press play, now we don't see anything except when we interact. When we come closer, the debug sphere is there because we can see when it's kind of interacting, right? So now it's close enough, you can see that that debug sphere is happening, right? So we don't want that. So so the hidden in game thing is good, but what we want is for the draw debug sphere, we just want to disconnect it, right? So that is back to this. So here, when we're branching, we're going to say we're just going to bypass this whole thing. So we're going to move this down, this part. So the interactable actor is going to be good, but we're going to move this down here, and we're just going to bypass it. So we're not going to show this part anymore. Okay, that's how we'll leave it in place. So if we need to do it, like later on, if you need to troubleshoot, you can just connect this up again, right? So if I compile and save now, if I press play, we don't get any of that stuff anymore. So we don't have any debug sphere, but we get close enough, then we can, if I look away, I won't be able to interact, but if I look close, I can pick it up. And I can do that. I can pick up that stuff. I can also interact with the door, and I can, kind of do that kind of thing. I can go back to this one. I can block, and I can attack. And one thing that we probably should do is make copies of these items so that both players can do the same thing. So we'll make copies. We'll say we'll give them each a sword and a shield. There's one here, and there's one here. This is all for testing purposes, right? And we'll just do the same thing. So we'll say we'll make a copy of the shield there, and we'll make a copy of the sword over here. And this way both can have sword and shield. Let's see if that works. So if I press play, then this left character here can go and pick up sword and shields, right? And can do its thing. But meanwhile, the right character cannot do any animations yet until they pick up a sword and a shield, and then they can do it. Okay? And we can see that both of them now are armed with sword and shield. Okay? Now here's the funny thing. Because we put both of those in place, what if one character picks up both swords and both shields? Is that possible? Right? So again, this is another test we should do. So this character here is going to pick up everything. This one, this one, this one, and this one. They can pick them all up. And what's happened is that even though they've had the stuff in their hands, they've actually replaced the items with the other items. We don't have a way of dropping an item right now, and that's going to come up later on. But that's pretty good. Health bars work. We can do this. We can kind of do our regeneration, and we can also pick up items to level up. We have that stuff here for leveling up, all those like debug, kind of things. And we should probably turn that stuff off too. So whenever we pick up a coin, right, it's telling us that we're kind of leveling up. And where does that happen? So that happens if we go back to blueprints, and if I go to player states, right, then we have level up. We can disconnect this. We don't need to show this anymore, like the player state thing, right? So we don't want to show level up, and we don't want to show this other part here, this print string, how much XP we added. So we can disconnect this as well. So we don't have to have that. This is all stuff we don't need now in our game. So compile and save. So let's go back and press play. And let's see if we can pick things up. Then we should be able to just pick it up and increase our XP without any of that stuff showing, right? And level up. There we go. And we should also be able to heal and heal and pick up weapons and all that kind of good stuff. And this is kind of the end of this one. All right, so file, save all, and we'll go to here and we'll say git add dot git commit -m. We'll say cleaned up debug objects. So my friends, why am I doing this? Because you're going to have this. This is going to be your starter for the most part. I'm just going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to give it to you so that you can start with this for your midterm test for next week. You'll have all this functionality in place. You can pick up stuff, you know, a sword or a shield. You can have different potions. You can open doors and all that kind of stuff. And all that is part of our interactables. And then from there, I'm going to ask you to do something very similar. Questions around this before we go for the day, because that is everything that I need from you for assignment. This also covers most of what you need for assignment 2, because basically talks about how to create interactables. So if you're going to create other things other than a door, like for example some kind of switch, a lever, or if you're going to open up a chest, again, the idea here is very similar to what we've already done. Okay? Make sense? Any questions for your assignment 2 or for what we're doing here with multiplayer? Well, if none, that's okay. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Okay? Thank you so much, guys.